What's up, everybody? I'm just going to let this play out, wait for some others to join in. Listen to the words, they're very powerful. All right. Hey, just wanted to welcome everybody. That was Skillet, Ash in the Wind. If you get an opportunity to check it out, it's actually really powerful lyrics. You know, we struggle with things that cause us to put ourselves on an island. And we also call it the fortress, which we'll get into that a little later on. However, I just want to welcome everybody. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you dropping in and saying hello, and we'll get started in a minute. I just wanted to give a couple admin rules. There's a chat box down at the bottom on the right-hand side. Might be a little different on your screen. It looks like two little comment blocks. All you have to do is click that, and you can chat over on the right-hand side. And if you do that, I would love to know where you're checking in from. And if you just happen to log in and you're not really paying attention and you happen to see that your screen flashes with it lights up around your specific screen, it'll give you the opportunity to let you know that you're talking and the microphone's picking you up. So if we get a little too crowded and there's too many people talking, it causes a lot of distractions. And we could stop that from the jump. That'd be awesome. Greatly appreciate it. But that being said, I want to just introduce myself. Excuse me for scratching my face, just have to do it. I'm Bob Kane, and I had 29 years in the Marine Corps. From career reservist is where I started out as, but then we had our deployments in 03 and 04, and then went back to the civilian world. And in doing that, I wound up not doing as well as what the company thought I was doing. And it was an opportunity for me to go back on active duty, and I did that for 10 years straight, back to back with mobilization orders from '07 to 2017, and then transferred back to the reserves again. But during that time frame, I had an opportunity to do so many different things and utilize all the things in my background that helped me be successful in the opportunities that were presented before me. Some of those happen to be a 58,000 square foot facility that's located at Dover, Delaware. I had an opportunity to help with that, with the design, build, and relocation from Aberdeen Proving Ground. And then my reputation kind of preceded me and wound up getting me an opportunity to get relocated down here to Tampa and working for the Marine Corps Central Command. Marine Corps Forces Central Command is exactly what they would call it. However, also known as MARCENT. I got to know a bunch of the people from SOCCENT, SOCOM, and CENTCOM, which again afforded me additional opportunities to stay here as I transferred back into the reserves, and also other opportunities to go as a contractor overseas for a significant period of time doing with what I did. I just recently retired from the military in 2020, published on Amazon as a #1 bestseller with 2 different books. I also have a retirement that I just accomplished this past week on Thursday, the 26th of February. So 2026. So that's a quick down and dirty of who I am and what I'm here for. But what I want to do is get an opportunity to meet every one of you guys and talk to you one-on-one at some point in time. Later on, I'll put the Calendly link in there in the chat, and you can jump in there and schedule some time, do a 30-minute strategic call with me, and we'll go from there. But that being said, I'm going to jump into the first presentation that I have, and as I shift a screen around, just let me know that you can see it as I share my screen. Here, there we go. Veteran Warrior Rebirth, yes, there we go. Share, and kaboom. All right. I'm going to put that as a, no, maybe not. Maybe I won't put it as a slideshow. Hold on. Again, technical difficulties. Work with me here. All right, let me see. Get back to this other screen. All right, we're going to put you into slideshow. Then we're going to go this one and share screen. Look at that. Back to Veteran Warrior, share. Pow. There we go. All right, that's much better. Let's see. Now, can I get it to move? Of course not. So, hey, you know what? We worked through everything. All good. All right, let's see. Take it there. And I know what I'm doing wrong. I have to put it on a different monitor, because if I put it on the other, it screws it up. That's what's going on. All right. Let's try this again. One more time. Let's share. All right. Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. I see what I'm doing wrong. So here we go. Here's our 5-stage blueprint that we were going to go over today. This was the one thing that I wanted to bring to everybody. It's also hung inside the bonus section so that you can look at that and dig into it again. Right here, it's the Veteran Architect framework that's been built. This is just the stepping stone for the rest of the program. And as we go through this, we're just going to, look at it. This is why most veterans fail in their transition. You already have all this other stuff. I'm not going to read into it, and you can read it at your convenience. But you already have all this stuff. It's built into you. You've been doing it for however many years in the service, right? But it translates. If you're working in the corporate world, you already have discipline, leadership, and experience within the community that you work with, right? Because if you don't, then you wouldn't be where you're at. And the problem isn't your skills. It's how you've been trained. It's what's been programmed into your head. And you've been doing this for so long that everything is like clockwork. And while you're using this clockwork, there's an expectation. Well, When you're out in the civilian world, it doesn't work the same. It's slightly different. Now, depending on your structure in a civilian position, you may have some of this based on the people that are already there who may have been former service members or veterans. So this is a big piece of something that you will probably not have when you transition into the civilian world. So usually what ends up happening is it's not working out for you, and I'll say this for myself. You'll close yourself off or isolate and shut yourself down, and you build that fortress bigger and bigger to protect yourself because it's not getting you the things that you need. But that's where the isolation built that fortress. That fortress kept you safe and got you home, specifically in relation to deployments. Fair? Cool. I appreciate the thumbs up. So what I found, the problem was this fortress ends up becoming your prison. You can't literally drive through it. It's an autopilot system. You're just doing it, and it's like click, 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 just going down the road, and you're just moving along, doing the motions, if you would say. And you can't continue to do that. You have to rebuild. You have to start with a new framework, and within that framework, you can break the fortress and open it up and create the bridge to get out of there. Within this, I put together the 6 pillars of transformation, and within that, you can help transition and focus on one thing to get you a decent paying job, making what you're worth that's necessary. Doesn't have to be sufficient, but these critical domains work together. If you don't use all 6 pillars, you're going to struggle. You need these to work together. The first one is your body. And we all know that. We've been on, uniform duty. You're going to have to work on your body. You have to work on your exercise, your nutrition, your sleep, your interaction with people. You have to have the opportunity for recovery after beating up your body. And you already know that. I don't have to tell you that. It's part of the foundation of who you are. Being. Your being is nothing more than your purpose, obviously beyond the paycheck, but it's your connection with your significant other, your higher power, whatever it may be. God, Allah, Buddha, Shineth, I forget what his name is, the Hindu. My name escapes me at the moment, and it's a shame I practiced it too. Anywho, your being is your spiritual connection, meditation, and all that good stuff. That is huge, and that works a lot with your body. If you don't work with the body and the being, you have those 2 pillars, they're already disconnected. You can't have a 2-legged chair, right? Your balance. Balance is all of the relationships that you have with your family, your friends, your spouse, your partner, whomever. It's all of the people that you're interlaced with over your whole entire lifetime. And that balance needs to be maintained, which again helps with your body, because if you don't have balance, you have a good relationship, you get heartburn and you can't communicate with the people that you're with. Then you have your being with your spirituality. Your spirituality and your meditation helps keep the balance and the ability, again, to communicate with your body, but also with the people around you. The balance is also, picture it like this. It's a bank account, right? You got to keep putting deposits in the bank account. So a perfect example, you're having an opportunity to pass your wife or your boyfriend or girlfriend or your kids first thing in the morning. Give them a hug, a kiss, a pat on the head, a little post-it note before you leave. Every day, all the time. You got to constantly be making the deposits. Because at some point in time, you're going to want to make a withdrawal. Whether it's taking an opportunity with your partner or spouse to have some intimate time alone, or if you want to take either one of your kids and take them out on their own for like an hour a day and break it up between each kid on a different day. Same thing with, again, your friends. You got to communicate with them and maintain that balance. Because if you don't, you're going to end up having a three-legged stool that is now two. And you can't have a two-legged stool, right? And then business, and this is building something meaningful, and it's up to you how you want to do it. If you want to build your own business, help somebody build their business, or if you want to become an entrepreneur and do it all on your own, that's totally up to you. But you got to get all of that together, working in unison, so that it can thrive and maintain a healthy paycheck, if that's what you choose to do. One of the other things that I've just really learned a lot about myself, and I know you've probably gone through it at some point in time as well, you have to be under a lot of time to yourself to understand the trauma awareness. Trauma awareness is so critical, in my personal opinion, that we don't pay enough attention to it, because we've all been through trauma. It doesn't matter who you are, where you've been, or what you've done. From the time that you were 0 to 7 years old, you experienced some kind of trauma. And those 0 to 7 years old is where you've built all of the filters that you have that help you drive your entire life. You've been doing that your whole entire life without even realizing it. Just to give you a little nugget, when we have 11 million bits of information that's pushed at us at every minute of every day, that 0 to 7 year filter that you built is only able to process 128 bits. That's right, I said 128 bits, and you're getting smashed with 11 million every minute. So you have to take that into perspective. And then what ends up happening is you take it, you squash it all down, stick it in the back, and then you're not worried about it ever again. That's bullshit. Because what ends up happening is there's a trigger at some point in time, whatever it may be, that affects you. Then you repress it, and then it just cycles over and over and over. And I know a lot of guys, to include myself, with a lot of the PTSD and emotional repression. We're at a period of time right now where, as men, we've always been told to keep it down and just suck it up. We're in what I think is probably one of the, in my opinion, the weirdest timelines that we could be dealing with right now, because of we have been told to show our emotion. You can't hold it back anymore. Well, how is that affecting the belief that I already have of dealing with that? That is a significant internal fight, which comes back to your body and your being and the balance to build a business based off of trauma and a limiting belief that could be holding back all of that, which keeps that one pillar sitting over here and you can't connect it with the rest. This is a huge one, and it takes a lot. This is probably one of the bigger things that we're going to dig into over the next, course of the next couple weeks, because trauma awareness is specifically the most important thing, in my opinion, out of all of them. So we can dig into that and have conversations about that individually, but we'll work on that a little bit more. So I want to move on to the next one, which happens to be, there we go, retirement planning. Yeah, I know. You're already doing retirement planning. You're at the, I'm hoping, 24-month time frame, maybe 18-month. If you're not at the 18-month and you're less, you're pushing the envelope. The sweet spot's 24 months specifically. 18 is pretty good. You can get away with it. 12 months is really pushing the envelope. And if you're an active duty guy and you're doing 20 years, or girl, and doing 20 years, you have all of that medical information that you have to get put together so that you can submit it to the VA and get all that stuff over and done in that compressed time frame. So 24 months is quite the sweet spot, because you can do all your VA documentation. You can go through your TAPS class more than once. Note that. You have opportunities for skill bridge, and I'll have somebody come on and talk about that another time. And then there's all kinds of other different internships that you can get opportunities to do when you're doing your retirement planning. Now, it all depends on what you want to do with that. If you want to go through your retirement planning and then build a business, even better, because then you have an opportunity to build more income. Hopefully, you have your TSP, BRS, 401ks, whatever, set aside. And one thing that I am not here as a financial advisor, I can connect you with multiple. This is for educational purposes only. Self-directed IRAs, put it into a Roth, not a traditional. But I highly recommend that you connect with your financial advisor. If you need help with one, I have several I can connect you with, but that's not my intention, other than, put you on the right track with the right people. But your retirement planning, it's so you can get back time. If you have a good retirement plan in place, you can utilize those funds to buy back time so that you can build out that balance or business, and then have all 6 pillars lined up: your body, your being, your balance, your business, trauma awareness, and retirement plan all in place. And then you have the Parthenon, and you can build your own facility from there. Okay? Cool. All right, let's go to the next one. And here's the thing. Most people do optimize one pillar and ignore the rest. I mean, it's just blatant. So if you're going and looking back at the 6 pillars, okay, what's most important to you right now? Me personally is my body. I'm kind of a mess, but that's a whole nother story. But you got to work on all of it. So I do have a PT program. I do my own meditation and go to church. I have great connections that I reach out to on a daily basis for my balance. My business, as you can see, we continue to do this, but I have my fingers in multiple other things, as most of you know, because that's why you're here and know me and supporting me. And I greatly appreciate that more than you'll ever know. And then the trauma awareness, I've gone through the PTSD stuff. That's where I took the NLP, and that significantly helped me. Your choices for what you want to do can guarantee your freedom with the new avenue that you choose. I'd be more than happy to guide you on that path, whatever it may be, so that you can succeed in your retirement. And then your retirement planning, all of that stuff together, it just turns the wheels, and you just keep on going and going and going. And it just makes, I'm telling you, it is freaking amazing once everything is aligned. And right now I am so in alignment, I'm ecstatic. I actually get yelled at because I'm a little too happy sometimes. All right, so here's the 5-stage blueprint. This is, we put this together. I say we, my buddy Claude and a friend of mine. Obviously, you got here through the Veteran Warrior Rebirth, or a link that I sent to you, or a contact from one of the networking events. So this is what you've come for. This is the big thing that we're really going to focus in on. Before you can rebuild, you have to know what you've built, okay? And I mentioned the fortress in the very beginning. And this audit, I'm telling you, it'll blow your mind, okay? It's a cognitive and subconscious system-based exercise. And it's really easy. All you have to do is be honest with yourself, because you are already prepared. And we've already said this. You have the discipline, leadership, and experience. You know your own answers. You know what's holding you back. You know what's beneficial for you. So, when you go out into the civilian world and you start to see it, and it might feel a little awkward, this is why. Within the fortress, you're going to find these issues for yourself so that you can fix them, and then you can have a successful retirement. So we're going to take a piece of paper and a pencil and draw this box in the middle of the page and write the fortress on it, okay? And while you're doing that, I'm going to take a sip of water, and we'll be back in a half a second. Fantastic. All right, well, good. Cool. Appreciate the thumbs up. So within this box, make sure you wrote the word fortress. This fortress is also what I call the island. I've been an island the majority of my career and the majority of my life, and I've learned about it because of going through a lot of the things that I've experienced over the last 6, 7 years to identify what in the flying screwballs is wrong with me. And it has created a lot of emotional impacts. And I will tell you, this may or may not tug at some strings. So just be prepared for it. So now we're going to put 2 arrows. They're facing the same direction, one on one side of the box, one on the other side of the box. This camera is really starting to annoy me. Pardon me. I need to get this thing a little better for me because I hate not looking at you and looking. Oh, there we go. All right. And looking at the screen. There we go. A little bit. There we go. That's a little better. All right. I mean, at least I have a little bit more visual with you. All right. You got the 2 boxes, right? Or 2 arrows, not 2 boxes. We got 2 boxes. We're already starting screwed up. Anyway, so what is the energy that you expend keeping everything bogged down, hidden? Okay? If that's not clear, let me know. Because if you do not understand this particular part of the exercise, it's going to be painful for both of us. So, what is the energy cost? Does it give you heartburn? Does it give you stress? Does it cause arguments? I'll go back. Financial issues, like all the bullshit. I'll be honest with you. Everything that's jacked up. I don't want to sugarcoat anything. If you have something that's sticking out in your mind, you don't have to share it with us. If it's bullshit that holds you down, what does it take out of you to maintain this fortress? Okay? Do some soul searching. I don't need you to write down something that you don't believe right now, because that's the back end of this. Okay? On the other side, what do you think it gives you? Peace of mind, clarity, good sleep, extra money. What are the false beliefs? Makes you look good. I mean, I don't know. That's your business, not mine. Anyway, so think about the things that you perceive are positive. Okay? So now what we're doing is you're looking at the things that map the inputs and outputs. And what it does is it transforms this into a tangible, so that your coconut can analyze it, right? So we're going to go to the next one. Now, your perceived payoffs. I don't know how many you wrote down. I'm going to modify that so you have at least 5 in the future. So what I want you to do is take the 2 most powerful ones and subject them to the first principles of interrogation, and we're gonna pop that up on the next slide. Where do you see these questions? All right, you ready? I need you wholeheartedly, bottom of your soul, ask yourself: is it an absolute law that showing emotion equals weakness? Be honest with yourself. Don't bullshit yourself. Be honest. Or is it a social construct that we've chosen to accept? Or what you've been taught your whole entire lifetime? or during your service while being in the military? For anybody, it all depends. But be honest with yourself. Ask this thing out loud to yourself and challenge it. All right? Has this fortress actually protected me from hurt, or is it guaranteed a different kind of pain? The pain of isolation. Here's a story for you. I took a trip and went to do a week with Garrett White back in July of 24. And I met about 100 people. 15 of us were actually in the classroom. Everybody else was online. I'm still in touch with many of them to this day. However, we had an exercise where we went outside, and as most people know, I'm very private. I am getting better at it. While we were there, we went and did a walk to the beach, and the whole entire group hung out together. And there's a couple guys, there's a couple Green Berets that were there, that they wound up grabbing each other's hands. Two massive dudes. That's all the fun part. Two massive dudes. They grabbed each other's hands and they ran out and jumped into the ocean. Well, the next thing you know, the whole rest of the class ran out and jumped into the ocean. And I just stood there. And I didn't know how to interact. The emotion that I felt feels similar to what it does right now. But I literally said, I'm a fucking island. And I still fight it, which is really interesting. I wound up walking a little farther up the beach by myself, rolled up my pant legs, and then got into about knee height. And one of the girls came over and asked me, who I'm still very good friends with to this day. She's like, what's wrong? And I told her, I was like, I'm an island. I don't know how to communicate, and I don't know how to interact. I'm really sorry. And she's like, no, you're just not ready. And I'm still trying to figure that out. It's weird. But I'll get through it. I'm not worried about it. So, the fortress, is it protecting me or is it hurting me? Probably a combination of both. That's for me. You may have your own experience, but I just figured I'd tell you that. And yeah, here you go. Next question. Who wrote these fucking rules? And do I respect the source? You know, am I living based on a rule book I didn't even write? And think about it. You know, we were taught things from 0 to 7, which became our filters for our entire life. Well, who taught us that? It was our parents, and they were working with the best things and the best tools that they had at the time. Well, who taught them? Their parents, who had the best tools that they had at the time. So we've gotten a lot more information over the years. However, you can only do as much as you can when you have the best tools that are available to you. So that's why you need to go out and learn more and continue to educate yourself on all of this stuff. So here's why these questions work specifically. And you're able to dismantle it and break it down. Because nothing is impenetrable. Everything is penetrable. So what this does is it forces you to break open the limiting belief so that you can get rid of it. The best thing you can do is do this for the next 7 days. Little things. Doesn't have to be anything, but put like the shit that bothers you the most and compare it. And that's basically what it is. It's comparison. How is it helping me? How is it hurting me? What's the benefit? What's the negative? Pro, con. Why does that fortress protect one or the other? All you got to do is aim for the target. And then what you need to do is get with somebody who you trust, who you're willing to be vulnerable with. This is where the balance comes in. It's very important that you have somebody that you can have, that you can trust, because you are going to open yourself up to be vulnerable. And I will tell you, it's not easy. It's really hard to find that person. I've been blessed. I have two that I could really lean into. One of them has actually helped me significantly because of a lot of this stuff. And feelings are not the easiest thing for me to show. But I'm getting better, as you will too. Pick that one truth that you would hold back. Okay? The one thing that you would hold back and express it. And yes, it's about what my coach would say about emoting emotion. I felt. Okay? When you feel a certain way, anxiety, anger, stress, grief, that is when you need to take the learning the most. What are you supposed to learn from that emotion at that particular point in time? Okay? If that doesn't make sense, let me know. But that's what you need to do. And that's it. Just state the data point. If they're dumbfounded, awesome. If they say something, okay, cool. It doesn't have to be a conversation. It's just a off you go. Okay? And here you go. This is why it works. You're challenging the axiom. And if you feel whatever it is and it's negative, it's counterproductive, you don't want to have that, right? It's a wrong hypothesis. And it shows you that the fortress isn't necessary and it's counterproductive. And I will tell you, the fortress, as long as I've had one, it's difficult. And I'll be honest with you. That's where the shadow work comes in. And that's another opportunity. If you go into the bonus section, pull up some of the shadow work prompts and work with that. And if you want to include your being with that, so the shadow work, working on your body and your balance, you add your being in there. Wow. We can go down some rabbit holes with that. Mine was super impactful. It's really difficult. So these are your first steps. This is the blueprint. That's all you need to do. Work on yourself. And then, if you want the rest of the 5 stages, continue to join us, because I'll be digging down every stinking one of them. It's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. There you go. You started your fortress audit. It shows you what you've built. You can rebuild from operator to sovereign. Okay? These are the 5 stages down below. We're going to walk through them real quick. That way we have enough time. Ooh, yeah. Go through some Q&A. So, you have to be the observer. You need to see what you've built and map it to see where you're stuck, which is the fortress. Okay? Hopefully that's clear. Then you become the tinkerer. You start building things to automatically get yourself out of the area, right? So that starts building your bridge away from the fortress. Gets you off the island with the bridge, right? You become the operator. Once you get that stuff lined up and everything's running smoothly, boom. Oh, I got a typo. I got to fix. Anyway, once the once the machine's up and running and it's going smooth, fantastic. You can move from the operator to the architect and design more new systems to make your life better, working with all 6 pillars. You don't stay as the operator. You end up building outward so that you can scale to bigger and better things. And then from there, you become the sovereign. You're able to take all of your retirement and set that aside and put it towards the things that matter most to you. And that could be time with family, vacations, travel, etc. It all depends on what you're doing. And that's your choice. Sovereign is the goal. It's not easy, but it's there. Which stage are you in right now? Are you an observer, a tinkerer, an architect? Operator? Can't remember, a brain fart. All good. So think about it. Do you want to build the solution? We could do that together. And boom, there you go. You got decades of operating a certain way. Once that changes, you need to rebuild it and operate in your way that's best for you and your family to create the most freedom so that you can guarantee more time and have new experiences with your family. Not only that, when you do the pillars properly, your body is going to make you look good. Your being is going to have your head straight and square and in a great place. Your balance with your family and friends, everything will be handed to you on a gold platter. It's unbelievable once you have that balance and alignment. Business, whether it's yours, helping someone build a business, or create a new business as an entrepreneur, totally up to you. They will also help you with identifying more trauma from way back when, so that you can identify and grow past it and knock out more of those limiting beliefs. And then again, you have that retirement strategery going on to make things even better and more valuable. Just remember, in the Bible, it specifically states that we should have 7 sources of passive income in order to have a successful life after work. So, if you're interested in doing that, we can focus on that individually on a separate time. We'll just schedule it. And if you want, we'll go over here. I'm going to drop the link in the chat if I could get my mouse to cooperate. Boom. Paste. Nope, that's the wrong one. And what we'll do is finish up the slides, and then I'll put it into the chat. That way you have it. So, inside the Warrior Rebirth, you'll get the 6-pillar framework in great detail, the 5-stage architect roadmap, more live training, a community of veterans doing the same exact work. The shadow work is, I'm telling you, unreal. And then identity reconstruction tools, all of this stuff is going to be on the inside. There you go. It's not theory. It's the blueprint that I used. It works. Trust me. And on that note, that is the end of the slide presentation. Are there any questions? Fantastic. What I want to do is pull up that calendar link and get it into the chat. That way you have it. And then once that is done, we'll go into the Q&A session and focus on what has you intrigued. Cool. All right. No questions? There's plenty. Oh, come on. I know there's questions. All right. Well, if there's no questions, I don't want to hold you up because I know you got to work on your balance, right? Work on that balance. Spend some time with the family. And what I want to do is have a closeout with a great song that we can pop in here real quick. It'll be a nice closeout. Waiting for it to load up. And as what we'll end up doing is taking every week a new section to go over a individual topic, specifically within the pillars. And then I know for a fact I will be bringing people on board to talk specifically about entrepreneurship, skill bridge, maybe LinkedIn, I'm not sure about that. And then financial stuff for what they do. It could be real estate, it could be general contracting and stuff like that. So more to follow. But that being said, I appreciate it. You guys have a great night, and we'll talk soon. If you got any questions, hit me up in the chat, and we'll go from there. All right? Thank you.